session, just to give everybody a little bit of a refresher, and maybe introduce some new content as well for those of you who are here. I think we'll start off with some introductions, starting with our presenters. So my name is Erica Benson. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs. I'm also a professor of linguistics in the English department. And Heather, I'll hand it off to you next.
Hey, welcome. I'm Heather Johnson-Schmitz. I'm also in the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs. I'm the manager of grants and contracts. So first stop for all things external grants. And then I will hand it over to Melissa.
Hi there, I am Melissa Wallace. I work in ORSP and I'm the Research Compliance Specialist. So that's anything IRB or IACUC related and a few other things. So I would be your contact for those. Hand it off to Angie.
Hello, I'm Angie Stamba from CETL. I think we know each other, but I'm also a faculty member in nursing. So I teach for them in their graduate and undergrad program, depending on the semester. So I will hand it off to Sarah.
Hello, I'm Sarah Dunham. I am now in the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs. I am in my second week here, but I've been on campus for 3 years. My new role now in ORSP is post-ARC, which stands for Post Awards Research Concierge. And I think my role will mostly be helping PIs kind of be the linking piece to the rest of the resources on campus and sort of help you with the administrative side of post grants. And I don't know who else to hand it off to.
Well, I will go ahead then and ask our those who are attending, if you could introduce yourselves, let us know either what you're hoping to get out of this session or your best tip for staying warm in this freezing cold weather. So Alex, how about you start for us?
Sure. I'm Alex. I am new faculty this year in public health environmental science. And I guess, yeah, just because I'm brand new, I'm just seeing what I can learn.
Katie?
I'm Katie Streckert in Multicultural Student Services. And I've just started doing like some teaching, and I'm also looking into research stuff. So just want to know what's available. And my best tip for staying warm, I'm Norwegian, so they always say in Norway, there's no bad weather, there's just bad clothes. So investing in the right clothes is really helpful.
Awesome, thank you. And Mary? I stepped away. Mary, could you introduce yourself? Okay, we'll go ahead then and continue with the program. If anyone else comes in, maybe we'll see if they can introduce themselves at the end. So just to give you a high-level overview of what we hope to accomplish here, you can see we'll go over the ORSP mission and activities, our internal grants programs, external grant support, research compliance. We'll give you a list of our contacts. And then also CETL will have an opportunity to talk about their grants and opportunities as well. And then we have plenty of time, or we hope we'll have plenty of time for your questions too. So we all know that that ORSP is really here to support the research, scholarly, and creative activity of our faculty, academic staff, and students on campus. And you can see in this visual that there are kind of 3 major areas that we see ourselves engaging in, and that is first and foremost, and we'll talk quite a bit about this today, securing and administering funding. So through internal grant programs, UW system grant programs, as well as external grants. The second area is really developing faculty, academic staff, and students by providing information and counsel on anything grant or research, creative activity, scholarship related, as well as education and training. And then the third category we think of as advancing the institution, so really supporting institutional priorities, helping with those reputational indicators, things that can put us on the top lists of institutions, as well as policies and procedures to keep us in good standing and make sure that we're following proper research and creative activity and federal, state guidelines and doing all of that work. And we know that faculty are really required to engage in research and creative activity as part of their positions. And we also know that many of our academic staff also are engaging in research and creative activity. We can see here a visual that shows our student participation in research and creative activity. And as of the last academic year, that was almost 65% of our students participating in a research or creative activity before graduation. That includes two categories. So one is what we think of as kind of that traditional mentoring, maybe one-on-one or group engagement of a faculty or academic staff member working with students outside of a class to engage the students in research and creative activity. And the other type is in course-based research. So where we have embedded within a course a research project. It may be the whole class working on a project or individuals working on a project as part of a course that is required or optional for the major. So again, we have a high level of participation, and of course that is made possible because of the work of you all, our faculty and academic staff. So I'm going to talk first a little bit about our internal grants programs. So we have essentially three categories of internal grants within ORSP. We have those that support student faculty research and creative activity collaboration, so both grants and scholarships. And then we have a group that are really just focused on faculty and academic staff research and creative activity that is not limited to working with students or doesn't require that as a part. And then we also have professional development grants for faculty and academic staff. For nearly all of the ORSP grants, the faculty or academic staff member have to be at a 0.5 FTE. That is the basic requirement for those. So many of our academic staff qualify for these awards, and of course, all of our faculty do. I want to take a moment to take you to our SharePoint page, because I think this is an incredible resource for finding out about all of our internal grants. So I'm going to walk you from the UW Eau Claire website, because I know sometimes it's a little challenging to find the SharePoint site. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the UWEC webpage and you go to the for faculty and academic staff, and then to the A to Z list right here at the top of the page, next to the Internet Home, and then go to O. And here we are at the ORSP SharePoint page. So first off, one thing that you'll notice on our ORSP SharePoint page is we have our internal grants listed, and they are listed by application due date. So starting with the academic year, and of course you'll see that some of these dates have already passed, but we get here to February 10th, and that's our first date that may be on your radar for our summer research experience for undergraduates, as well as CETL's Summer Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, and the Student Research Scholarship. So that's a big deadline for those student-faculty research collaborations. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit here to our internal grants program. So here you can see we've got things organized by category. And if we go to the student, faculty, research, and creative activity grants, and although we're using faculty here in the title, I just want to emphasize that academic staff are also eligible for these grants. And we have three major types of the student faculty research collaboration grants. We have that summer research experience for undergraduates grant, which is due February 10th. Then we have the academic year student faculty research collaboration. First call is July 15th, second call September 15th deadline. And then we have what we're calling the open access deadline student faculty research collaboration grant, which has an open deadline. And this grant is in particular to engage students who fall into one or more categories. So they could be low income, that's Pell Grant eligible. They might be non-traditional or post-traditional students, first generation students, students who are registered for the students or services for students with disabilities. And there may be one or two more categories. Oh, students who come in with no incoming credits is another category there. So for this grant, you can just send an email to ORSP to ask if the students are eligible, and we will look them up and let you know. But essentially, these three grants, it's the same application process and essentially the same process for getting funding. They're just set out for different times of the year. And I do want to note that on the summer research experience for undergraduates, starting last year, we changed it. So if you're working on a long-term project, you can request funding for the summer as well as for the academic year in one application. Okay. And feel free to interrupt if you have questions. Just want to go back and look at our faculty staff, academic staff, research and creative activity grants. So we have for faculty sabbatical. After 6 years of full-time employment, you're eligible to apply for sabbatical. We have what we call the small research grant, which is up to $500 to work on a project. And that can be used for a variety of resources. Maybe you need some student help on a project. Maybe you need to pay for some image fees that you want to use in an article, or even article processing fees. So there's a variety of things you can use for that. Our University Research and Creative Activity Grant offers a larger pool of funding, so up to $3,000 for research-related expenses and or a course reassignment during the academic year. I want to especially point out this Vicki Lord Larson time reassignment collaborative research program. This is a grant that is only for tenure track faculty members who can apply for either a course reassignment or a $5,000 summer stipend, and have a student working on the project who will receive up to a $2,000 scholarship. If you're interested in mentoring a biomedical innovator scholar on a project, this is our biomedical innovator scholar mentorship program. And then I'm going to go back to our SharePoint page and just look at the professional development grants. So our professional development grants essentially fall into two categories. One is for our faculty and academic staff to go and attend. It could be virtual, it could be in person, to attend a workshop or some kind of institute or training and get funding to support that. The other type is to actually bring speakers to campus to provide training for all of us. So for faculty, staff, students, community members as well. So the first type, where we're looking at professional development for our faculty and academic staff, where they're going to a workshop, that would be either the academic staff professional development grant or the workshops and special projects travel. And then to bring speakers to campus, that would be either the guest lecturers, artists and other professionals grant, or the visiting scholars and artists program. So any questions just at this point about our internal grant programs? Okay. So I also just want to point out on our SharePoint page, so in addition to having our submission deadlines and all of our internal grant programs linked here, and then some more information about the internal grants here, we also have information about our external grant services. We have some general support and resources for faculty and academic staff. And I'll note here, I've been getting questions about article processing fees and article processing fee waivers. So there's a place to go for that. We have our research policies and procedures here. And we also have a section on support and resources for students. And then you can find any of our events and publications, our circa schedules and abstract books from years and years. Here, our report on scholarly achievements, etc. So just want to make sure that you're aware of the SharePoint page and all of the wonderful resources that we have there. And I am going to stop sharing and I will go back to our PowerPoint, and Heather is up next to tell you more about our external grant services.
I did have one quick question.
Sure.
About the one February 10th deadline for the summer research. Would that be something when we apply, we should already have in mind the students who are going to be working with us before we put in the application, correct? Or can you apply and then find out if you get funds and then select students and to let them know that, you know, if they're interested, they can be a part of it? I guess I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, great question, Tasha. So you can do both. If you know the students that you'd like to work with, you can put them on the application. If you're not yet sure of the students, then you can leave the students blank. You want to request the funding for the students and the number of students. And as part of the application, part of the narrative, you want to describe the characteristics of the students that you're looking for, and sort of why, maybe any kind of training or coursework that you want them to have had, so that the reviewers get a good sense of what kinds of students you would be recruiting for the project and what would make them ideal for this project, essentially.
Okay, that helps a lot because I work with student teachers in the spring, and then I'm like, well, I don't know yet, you know. So I'm trying to think how to work around that. So, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, so if you are awarded the grant, then we will follow up and say, please give us the names of your students. So, well, congratulations, of course, first, and then we ask for the names of your students at that point. All right. Thank you. Any other questions on internal grants? Hey, Heather, you're up.
Well, thank you. Well, in addition to that really robust list of internal grant opportunities, we also help you look for external grant opportunities. And so you can see a list of the different services that we can help you with on the screen there. But really the big takeaway is that we want to help you wherever you're at. So whether that's having a research idea and you're just curious about whether there might be external grants out there, we can meet and learn more about your idea, and then I can do a search for potential grant opportunities. Maybe you've found a grant and you just like to talk it through and the details, get some help with a budget, even get some feedback on a proposal narrative. We're here to help with that as well. and then on up to when you receive an award. We're here to help you, look through that agreement, get signatures, help you transition into an account for your grant funds. So really, everywhere you might be on your grant seeking journey, we're here to help you along your way and take next steps. So at any time in your curiosity about external grants, I would welcome you to reach out. You can set up a meeting. My Outlook calendar is always current. So open invitation. And turn it back to Erica. Or questions, any questions about external grants?
Right, so Melissa is up with research compliance.
Hi, so I would be the person that would be able to help you with anything on this list on this slide. The big ones are research with human subjects and working with the Institutional Review Board. I would be your first stop if you have questions on how to fill out the e-forms. Do you have to fill out the e-forms? Do you just have an idea and you're wondering if you even need to do the e-forms? We would love it when you ask questions early and often, and we'll do our best to get you through the process as quickly as possible. I'm not sure if any of you are animal researchers, but I also work with the IACUC and help people with getting protocols submitted and approved with them. And then there's some other things on this list. A lot of them would apply if you have a certain type of grant. For instance, financial conflict of interest, you would have to fill out information about that for certain grants. And just anything on these lists, if you have any questions about any of it, I'd be really happy to talk to you. So does anyone have any questions about anything on the list? Okay, well, thank you.
So just want to share here a list of our ORSP contacts and subject area expertise. So if you have questions about internal grants or generally about the research project, just or the research process, you can certainly reach out to me. If you have questions about external grants, reach out to Heather. As Melissa just said, any kind of questions about IRB, IACUC, research compliance, she is your contact. Sarah is our newest member, and as she mentioned at the beginning, working mostly with PIs with external grants to help them with their managing their grants and getting the work done that they want to get done. So she's our post-award research concierge. And then many of you know Kim Reed, our wonderful office manager, who is also available for any general questions. If you're ever unsure who to contact, just feel free to email orsp@uwec.edu directly. We all of us have access to that email box, and we share with each other when messages come in for that. And just want to reiterate what Heather and Melissa said, that reaching out early and often if you're interested in any kind of grant or research or creative activity related work. And we're also happy to meet with you one-on-one to talk about your work. So I'm going to turn things now over to Angie.
Hello, everyone. I've met, I think, most of you already. I just want to put a plug in, though, for Office of Research and Sponsored Programming. So for those of you who research is not your favorite thing, even though it's really, it's still part of my thing. When I started, and still to this day, I took advantage of especially some of the internal grants of working with students. For one thing, it kept my research moving forward. Having the students there with as a consultant with me and working with me made sure that I kept things moving. I was prepared for them, and it really kept me focused on the important parts of my research. And from the student side, I was really nervous about mentoring students, but the Office of Research and Sponsor Programming has resources for you. We'll work with you to think about how that looks. And I really encourage you to get started with it early. I was really nervous about it, but the forms are not overwhelming. They really will talk to you at any point and any time to get you started. So if you were like me, like I can do it, but it's not my favorite thing, this office helped make it simple and help keep me moving forward for like tenure track. They also take advantage of those professional development grants because I was able to go to conferences that were for me to learn through some of their funding, not just present at. And so it helped from everything that they do. So that was my just fabulous service. So I just said, go for it. But I've met most all of you before, but they're always very generous. Let me come in one more time and talk to you a little bit about some of the things that CETL has. And so we also have the deadline coming up February 10th of the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning grant, which works just like the ORSP student grants that are over the summer, come with a stipend for the instructor over the summer, and then money for your students to work with you. And so these Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, if it's something you haven't done before in your own research, I'm here as a resource, happy to meet with you. We have electronic book research. You can come and talk with me ideas, and it's working really on your own teaching and what you're curious about. It can be anywhere from implementing research questions and programs to redoing curriculum in a way that's used evidence-based practice and where you gather information about what the change is. And so I highly encourage you to think about your own teaching and what you're curious about, and we do have those grants available. We also have coming, we have a new educator certificate program, which you'll be receiving from Avonlea an invite to join in. It's a way to continue what we were doing with Teaching Academy, but now exploring specific areas of teaching a little bit more, and we let you pick the areas. So it's kind of a great opportunity to bring in experts from campus, get your questions. We're always available for one-on-one consultations and support. We have even this week, we have 2 drop-in session times, or just make appointments with us. We're happy to meet. And then fresh off the press this month, we just got it published last week, is we have another grant opportunity that we're coordinating with Students with Disabilities Office. It's called it's a grant that is available through Kathy Schneider Disability Grant. And there's funding available for you for students, staff, faculty, emeriti. If there is something that would help related to disabilities that might be helpful in your classroom, that might be helpful to bring in a speaker from a student side, if it would be something that maybe doesn't cover in their accommodation, but could really be helpful for them to learn, there is a grant process with funding available for those types of items. And so this is just launched. And so if you have questions about that and you're like, I don't know what that means, we're really just looking for ways to supplement on campus. The grant's not meant to like stuff that should be covered with an accommodation or that HR should cover you as a staff member because it is a required accommodation. It's like, how do we expand beyond it? So that is also just become available now, starting here in January. I said a lot in a short amount of time. Any questions for me?
So what other questions do you have for us? Or what would you like to hear more about?
I guess I can say something. I still need to get on track with the IRB. So I don't know if like if there's like a part on the website to start like the training. I guess I'm curious about that. I know I've had it on my list of things to do, so that's something I'm wondering about.
Well, okay, so yes, the IRB does have their own website. So from that homepage in the search bar, I just type in IRB and it's usually the first one that pops up. It's really long, but it has accordions, so you can kind of just go through that. And if you have questions, feel free to email me or call, and I'm happy to walk you through whatever other questions you might have after looking at that. Heather looks like put the address in the chat.
Yay, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Melissa, if I complete all the IRB things, is it a fast turnaround or was it anticipated? Like, so let's say I want to get going on some kind of research.
The IRB asks for a month from the date you submit your e-form. Usually, though, we get them turned around in 2 weeks. It just kind of depends on the time of year and vacations and how many we're getting each day. So, yeah, a month, but usually we turn around in 2 weeks.
Mimi, go ahead.
So as a new educator, new to grants and scholarships, I want to apply for the ORSP for student summer funding, but I guess I don't even know where to start. Is there someone who could maybe like one-on-one answer questions to help reduce that feeling of overwhelmed? I don't know what I don't know.
Sure. Yes. So you can feel free to reach out to me, Erica Benson. You can send me a calendar. You can look at my calendar, send me a calendar invite, and I'll be happy to meet with you to kind of talk through what you're thinking about for the project, help you conceptualize it in a way that you could think about, okay, this is what we'll try to accomplish over the summer. Maybe this is what we'll try to accomplish during the year, kind of clarifying those research questions or project goals, and then looking at how to approach the application process. So yeah, absolutely happy to meet with you.
So I had a quick question regarding IRB. So if I already have done the training with my previous institute for the IRB, so do I need to repeat the training with this institute or will that work?
You would need to go to the city website and affiliate with UW-Eau Claire. Your coursework, if it hasn't expired, will roll over. However, each institution may have different requirements. So what you have done will roll over, but they may or may not be some parts that you might have to take to meet our requirements. And if you need help with any of that, let me know and I can help you get that set up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm putting in the text the page that has like if you're a user from a different institution finale, so you can go right there.
Other questions or anything you'd like to learn more about?
For that summer scholarship of teaching and learning, is that something we create or it's a program to like participate in?
It is something you would want to research, but it's focused on teaching and learning. And so one of you can feel free to meet with me, Mimi, if you want to like set up how it goes along the way. One of the things we have is that if you're awarded it, you meet with me as well, because scholarship of teaching and learning can be a little bit different than traditional research in your discipline. And so we're here as a resource, can walk you through. So if you're like, this is my first time ever doing this type of thing, I really want a lot of guidance, then I'm here to meet with you and help you along the way. So most of the funding starts like July 1st. There's sometimes funding available, it's not guaranteed. So oftentimes individuals will meet with me like in June and stuff, kind of get everything finalized, talk through. Or if like they're like, oh, I want to do a survey, we work on survey design and that type of thing to discuss. So it's not a formalized program, but I'm here for as much support as you would need.
And Angie, do those projects tend to fall more in the area of curriculum redesign, or are there kind of general categories that the projects fall into?
Yeah, we have currently two different types. One would be research questions. So really looking at research process related to your teaching. And then we have a curriculum like design or revision, which doesn't typically have like a research question, but what we focus on is like the main learning outcomes of this and how are you going to ensure that your curriculum revision is meeting that? What is your process for getting there? And those who have done curriculum revision with the students often find having the students with you really changes how you design the curriculum because they're such a great resource for like from the student's perspective and how do these things go. So it's a little bit different than, there's two different ways to approach it, but really it is about like meeting, what are you doing assessing, how are you closing the loop to ensure that you said, this is what the outcomes of this course are. How do we get there? And that, again, we're here to help and consult with all of that.
I'll also share, if you're new to working with student researchers or student collaborators, and you may want some help on figuring out, okay, what do they need to know, for instance? We do on our SharePoint page under the resources for students, we have a link to the University of Maryland has put together several modules for student researchers, student collaborators. They're great to go through, I think, too, as a faculty member or staff member who's wanting to work with students, but also a nice thing for kind of to help train the students. We also have resources for mentors. So under that heading of resources for faculty and academic staff, we have a page of mentor resources and characteristics of good mentors, kind of things to be thinking about. And again, always happy to meet with you individually and talk through some of those questions or processes and anything that you might want to learn more about or have additional resources. But definitely a couple of things up there already to get you started. Any other questions? Well, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you coming. We have recorded this presentation, so Heather will send it out along with the PowerPoint after. And there are some links in the PowerPoint too. So if you forgot how to get to the SharePoint page, that internal grants page has a link that will take you right there. Don't hesitate to reach out to ORSP or CETL if you have any questions. We have those great easy email addresses, orsp@uwec.edu and CETL@uwec.edu. But thank you all for coming, and keep warm this week. And I cannot believe that the semester starts next week. So good luck getting everything prepared and ready to go for the spring semester. Thanks. Bye-bye.